Hello, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. This is my documentary for HOD Capstone Learning Challenge Reflection Project. Today I'm going to be reflecting on the experience I had while training for a marathon, which was my chosen learning challenge. It was a very challenging process, certainly, and a lot of learning happened as well. So you could say that all boxes were checked. I first began toying with the idea of running a marathon back in October of the fall semester of my senior year, 2024. My friend had run the New York City Marathon, and I've always been very competitive with him. And I thought to myself, well, if this guy can do it, I probably can too. And around that time, I had a bunch of friends who were running the half marathon in Nashville. And while I had been running for a little bit around that time, I still didn't feel quite ready for a half marathon. But I didn't want to have no goal to work towards whatsoever. So I thought maybe going for the full marathon would be a good idea. Let's skip the half. That's kind of the way my mind operates, I guess. I didn't want to do half of anything. So cut to November, started ramping up a little bit. During that month, as you may be aware, November is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And this company called Movember was doing a challenge where they challenged men to run 60 miles in 30 days for the month of November. And I decided, I might go for it. So I ran a little bit. I would do typically 3 to 5 mile runs, not every day, just a couple times a week. And then Thanksgiving break rolled around. That gave me a little more free time. I started ramping up my runs a little bit more, thinking, hey, maybe I could end up actually doing a longer race here. Did my first 8 to 10 mile runs around that time. Pretty forgiving on the body. I was taking a lot of rest. I was lifting as well. I wasn't really stretching or rolling or doing anything else preventative at that time, but didn't really need to. I was feeling really good. And thanks to the extra time afforded by Thanksgiving break, I was actually able to get my 60 miles done. And I kind of had this realization. I was like, all right, I'm starting to actually run here, probably averaging about 15 miles a week. That would make sense for a month to get to 60. And so I kind of had some juice at that point. So December came through, the weather got a little bit cooler. It actually became even easier to do these longer runs because I was kind of constantly refreshed. And that also facilitated my progress, thankfully. And I continued throughout December break, had to go back down to Florida. It was all humid and hot, even in December, 85 degrees, sunny, miserable running conditions, but I was able to deal with it. And I really kind of made it at that point. I made the mental note, this is the point of no return. I am going to actually go for this thing. So when the spring semester finally rolled around, that was the moment where I said, all right, no more kind of going back and forth. This is a firm goal that I'm going to set myself. And fortunately, I had Capstone to actually give me a firm kind of requirement and say, you know what, if I'm doing this, I'm doing this. It's part of a class now. I'm going to be all the way in. So around that time, I actually learned the difficult lesson that there's a big difference between doing a couple 5 mile runs a week and actually ramping up to the point where you're doing 25 miles a week consistently on the body. So even though mentally I felt like I was pretty good, even though I felt like my conditioning was really strong, my body started to really feel it. And one of the solutions I turned to was hot yoga. Highland Yoga down in Nashville was offering a 30-day trial for students at Vanderbilt, which was really helpful. And I found great recovery there. I was stretching consistently. I was getting really good leg workouts in. I was getting the mental benefits of sweating it out and, achieving nirvana and so forth. So that was very good. And even so, I was still dealing with a lot of pain because as you're consistently ramping up mileage and running 4 or 5 times a week, 25 miles a week, that takes a toll on your body. And I turned to outside resources. I would do a lot of research on my own. I would reach out to people who I knew were runners, ask them for advice on recovery, on training well, made sure I was actually following a disciplined plan. That's where I turned to my learning tracker, and I actually had a system where I made sure I was doing a few different things every single week, or trying to at least be consistent with getting in one long run of at least 10 plus miles in, a few shorter runs, 2 to 3, making sure I was actually still doing strength training so that my muscles were staying balanced and that I was able to maintain my strength, so I wasn't kind of gaining any deficiencies or losing strength that could be really, really damaging to my progress and my health. A lot of little maladies popped up along the way. The first thing was kind of a patellar tendonitis knee issue. I thought that was going to derail me. kind of powered through it and kept going, and I bounced back. Then I had a hip flexor issue that was really painful. Again, kind of learned through that you just got to run through it and eventually it goes away. And I was doing along the way a lot of exercises. There was a training program called Knees Over Toes that I did that just kind of works to build functional strength in your legs. So I'd come home after my capstone and I would do this 30-minute lower body leg workout that wasn't really an intense workout. It was more like physical therapy exercises, just designed to build functional strength. And those were little things that made a huge difference for me. Gradually I started hitting the longer runs became really long runs. And eventually you get to, 15, 16 miles, 18 miles. And when I did my 18-mile run, that was a tipping point for me because I actually finished that. And going into that run, I actually didn't feel great in my ankle, lower calf region. After that run, I actually felt something like physically go very wrong. And the week after that, I was literally hobbling around my office all week looking like a fool at capstone, and I couldn't run at all. I couldn't do anything. I could barely walk. And I thought to myself, this is going to be the end. But again, I had learned this kind of valuable heuristic, I guess, of like, just don't give up, just don't stop. Took some time off, focused on my physical therapy, on my lower strength training, didn't run for a week. Ended up scheduling a doctor's appointment with Elite Sports Medicine in Nashville. They got me right with some more routines to do and just kind of gave me the okay and said, hey, nothing's broken, nothing's totally torn. It might be painful, but you can kind of manage your way through it. And so I kept going again. And that was thankfully so far the last real issue that I've had. I was able to run 20 miles yesterday, which was really, really great. Feel great today, a little soreness, but that's kind of par for the course. And that's going to be my longest run for the training period. So these next 2 weeks will be kind of focused on tapering, slowing down the training a little bit, and just staying in shape, keeping things right. A few shorter runs, keep up the strength training, don't want to lose out on that, and just keep rolling, stretching, focusing on recovery. And April 26th will be here around the corner, and that will be the day we go for it. So this overall has been a great process. I would say the learning challenge framework has been helpful for keeping me locked in. I've learned a lot along the way about how to, take care of my nutrition, take care of my body, take care of the flexibility, muscular issues that also are underlying running, while making sure to do my running in a strategic way. And yeah, overall been a great experience. So looking forward to April 26th and yeah.